What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new album from Wale called Wow, That's Crazy. Now, Wale is a rapper who's coming out of Washington, D.C., and while he has had some pretty good mixtapes in the past, especially those Seinfeld-based ones, I would say overall that his career has been up and down. I don't think he's trash, he's not a personal favorite rapper of mine by any means, but he's just been very inconsistent with his albums and mixtapes. I thought his last album, Shine, was one of the worst things that he ever put out. I didn't like that Summer on Sunset mixtape, but on the flip side, I think the album About Nothing, Ambition, and The Gifted all have some pretty high moments on there, some tracks that I could certainly come back to and still bump. So this guy has just been all over the place in my opinion, and I was kind of surprised to see him drop this project because I hadn't heard much about it leading into it. It kind of just came out of the blue, but all those things I said about inconsistency can still tag along with this album here, because again, this isn't an album that I think is all out trash. It's not going to make my worst year-end list. It's not going to be a rant review, but it's also not something that I thought was really great either, man. I actually kind of felt like this album was just boring and a slog to listen through. I will start with some of the positives here. I think Sumi was great as an opener. You're getting this vocal-led production, and he is just unloading about the state of his life, his relationships, his career, so there's some pretty introspective moments on there, as well as on some other tracks, so Wale does have some moments like that. And I also like the song Cliche. This had beautiful production with gentle keys, great vocals from Ari Lennox, and also a solid feature from Boogie, who spits. I sit and think about just how the right path could be the wrong direction, but falling back is progress. It's all about perspective. I thought that was one of the more thought-provoking lines on the album, although like I said, Wale is no stranger to getting a little bit poetic, insightful, and introspective, so as you listen through, you are going to pick up on some of these moments. Especially on the song Expectations with Black. I think this was a standout track because it has that late-night vibe with hazy production, and here Wale is speaking candidly about mental health and just dealing with some different insecurity, depression, and these types of things. So this track did kind of go on for a while at about 5 minutes, but it still works because it's just one of those late night driving and thinking songs, man. Really did grow on me the more I listened to this album, so I did end up putting that as one of my favorites. But overall, man, there's nothing here that's overly obnoxious. I didn't feel like I was listening to Hobo Johnson or anything like that. There was no low point that I thought, wow, this is the worst shit I ever heard in my life. But there really weren't a lot of high points either. And this album started to feel like a chore when I was listening to it. And something I have said pretty much since I started reviewing music is that when an album feels like a chore, like you're sitting there listening to it, you're looking at the track list, you're like, God damn, I'm not even halfway through yet. I'm kind of tapping out here. That is not a good sign when an album feels like a chore. Tried to say that with conviction, but of course, I'm fucking kind of getting a little bit sick here, man. You can see I'm bundled up down here in my basement. It's starting to get freezing in Nova Scotia. All the bugs are flying around. My kids are in school and daycare, so I get everything they get. Fucking feel bad for me, man. I gotta maybe drink some NyQuil before I do these reviews or something just to get in the zone. But anyway, I just was trying to say that this does get kind of boring because the vast majority of this project is just some smooth, sometimes moody R&B production with Wale pontificating on love, relationships, and his career. So, you're gonna get some nice flows and sing-songy vocals throughout. But again, there weren't any points on this album where I was like, holy shit, Wale has stepped things into overdrive. This lyricism is crazy. This sound is unique and experimental. I wasn't really feeling anything with that. I wasn't rewinding any bars, so it all just felt very average to me as I was listening through. Again, it's not trash to me. I'm just stressing that because I saw a lot of people saying that this is one of the worst albums of the year. They fucking hate it and Wale is trash. I don't agree with that at all, but I don't know, man. It just felt like something was missing. I just still feel like Wale can't recapture some of that magic that he had earlier in his career. But that's very hard to do for any artist. And this is just my opinion because honestly, I have seen a lot of people praising this as well. Him himself, he's been saying this is one of the best albums of the year. So obviously he feels confident in it. Some of his fans are happy. So, fuck what I gotta say. But hey, that's why you come to my channel, is for my reviews. But you also get some pretty standard features on here like Jeremiah, and then Bryson Tiller, who sounds just terrible on his feature, man. I really did like some early Bryson Tiller. I know he's a character that people are very split on. I thought Trap Soul was dope. You had some bangers on there, some nice vocals, some moody jams. But his voice on here is kind of whiny and weak and whimpery. I don't know what was going on. I just thought it sounded really bad. You're going to get a lot of generic rap and R&B joints on here that aren't really pushing the envelope or anything like that. It just feels very paint by numbers at times. You even get a song with Megan Thee Stallion called Pole Dancer. You know, you see that, you already know what it's going to sound like and be about. I don't know, I didn't really care for that one too much. And then the Rick Ross and Meek Mill assisted banger Routine, I don't think that could be named more accurately, because it does just feel like a very routine track. Certainly works fine as a banger. Didn't think the verses were that great on here. Didn't think the beat was even that great. It kind of sounded a little bit outdated to me. But hey man, maybe that's what they were going for. Just one of those classic throwback MMG moments, because they've all, you know, obviously worked together in the past. But I don't know, man. I could understand people enjoying this project more than me, but I don't know, man. I just wasn't enjoying making it through this. You're going to get some dry, poppy dance tracks with Debbie and BGM, the latter of which does have a sentiment I can appreciate, because BGM is Black Girl Magic. He's showing love to black women. That's all good, but it's just kind of a chintzy pop track I didn't care for. And then Lil Durk comes through with one of the worst opening lines I ever heard in my life, man, on Break My Heart, where he croons, "I told her she my queen, so I'ma bow down. I might fuck you on your cycle, lay the towel down." That is just way too much information. We don't need to know that you like ketchup on your steak. But hey man, if that's what you're gonna do, go ahead, put that crimson towel down, those red sheets or dirty sheets, whatever you gotta do, man. You don't care. I understand, man, we all been there, but I don't know, that's just a weird opening line to kick off a song with. But hey, it is what it is. And really, I don't have too much more to say. I think Nina Simone / Semi-Automatic does provide some of the album's more poignant content, as he is spitting some black excellence bars, taking shots at Nazis and people in MAGA hats. Then the Afrobeats production on Love and Loyalty is kind of fun. So like, there are these cool moments throughout, but all in all, I just wasn't really engaged by this one. I didn't find Wale's takes on love and relationships to be anything that different or interesting or intriguing. To this day, I think right now, it might just be how old I am and where I'm at in life, I think Phonte is like one of the best rappers when it comes to that stuff. He just always finds, you know, these little things. The way that Phonte raps about love and relationships is amazing. It just sounds like a guy who's really been through it. He's kind of tired of it. He's seen it all, been there, done it all. I don't know. I just really like when Phonte does it. Just using him as an example, just kind of as the measuring stick for when it comes to that type of content, who I think is great. Whereas Wale's stuff is, you know, pretty typical stuff, kind of moody, being down on himself and wondering what's going on with these girls. But yeah, man, I'm going to go with a 2.5 out of 5. I just felt like sonically and content-wise, there wasn't anything overly distinct here. Again, there weren't any boundaries being pushed or anything like that. I wasn't blown away by the topics and lyricism. But I can see this doing well for the more casual rap fans, as well as radio listeners, which is certainly a fine lane to be in. I mean, that's where the money, the streams, and the radio play is at. So hey, man, he knows what he's doing. But I don't know, this definitely isn't a project that I'm going to come back to or even remember, you know, by the end of the year, within a couple of weeks, probably. I'm not going to remember too much about it, but it's not all out awful. I know I said that a bunch of times, but it's just one of those weird albums for me to review, I guess. I could understand people liking this more than me. I could understand people thinking it's even more mundane and boring than I did, kind of tedious. But hey, man, it is what it is. Pretty average project to me. Not rant review worthy like some 2.5s are. Just kind of another project, man. I got a couple tracks out of it, but that's it. So you guys hit me up down below with your thoughts and opinions, because I always want to know how you feel. And of course, make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.